So we're still on the topic of customer service and getting it right in your business. Hi, this is Rob O'Byrne from Logistics Bureau, and again with me is Matt Stedman, one of our senior staff who's been intimately involved in this sort of thing for many years. So Matt, this is part 3 of our short videos, and we'll put links to the others below. Firstly, we talked sort of conceptually about the 3 components of why it's really important to understand customer service. We then talked about understanding what customers value, what customers want. Now we're going to talk about how we design the customer service offer. So I guess the first question is, what is a customer service offer?
Well, customer service offer, generally speaking, has got 2 core things. It is customers will order by a time, and you will deliver by a time or date. So that's the bread and butter, if you like, of customer service offer. But it goes deeper than that, because if you can't have one size fits all to all customers. And generally speaking, you don't want that. You want to be able to design your customer service offer around what market segments actually want. There might be different levels of customer value that you're trying to satisfy. And so there's not generally speaking, I would never recommend a one size fits all for a customer service offer. So it's really penetrating what those various subsegments want and designing one accordingly.
So how do we actually go about designing our customer service offer?
Well, it starts with understanding what customers value, right? So that's the fundamental. But also this goes into what do competitors do? And don't forget there are competition out there. All right, so, and then what are you capable of delivering? And bringing those 3 things together.
You know, that's a really interesting point. I often talk about a business that I worked with many years ago where the sales director, they were currently offering, I think, like an 8-hour turnaround for customer service. And he said, no, we want to beat the competition. We want 4 hours. And kind of, as supply chain people, we were having an internal chuckle because we knew the implication of that. And it was, an extra $20 million of inventory and warehouses and things. And we're going to talk about the network actually in the next video. But so the point there is what you're capable of delivering and what you can afford to deliver, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so we understand why we need to have it and how. What are some of the issues that you've seen with businesses, trying to have a more formal approach, I guess, to designing their service offer?
Well, as I've mentioned, you've got to understand what customers value first, because without a customer service offer, your customers don't have a clear way of understanding how to use your business. 1, 2, you don't have a clear set of objectives to hold yourselves accountable to.
Okay.
So it's almost like you're on this journey without a destination. Your customers must clearly understand how to use your business, but also you must know what you're expected to do.
And I think it's really important as well for other functions within the business. And you and I have both, I'm just thinking of a project that we did together in Thailand where part of the project was about educating salespeople in terms of what was the cost to the business of different service offers. So I think we shouldn't underestimate the value of having a very clear service offer that's understood externally and internally. So the key takeout on this, I guess people might be watching this and thinking, this sounds like it's really complicated. Is this a lengthy process in trying to put one of these together?
Well, it's a bit of a journey, I must say, and it does start with understanding what customers value. But then once you've done that, it's fairly straightforward, depending on how complicated your business is. If there's multiple segments, multiple customer value propositions might be appropriate.
Okay.
So, it's not a one size fits all.
So key takeouts for me, and tell me if I got this wrong, but we've got to have a very clear service offer so that externally people know how to deal with us. Internally, we understand what we're allowed to deliver, if you like, within the business. And if we don't have that, we're kind of on the bus with not really knowing where we're going. And ultimately, by not having a well-designed service offer, we're going to have unhappy customers and we're probably going to blow our costs.
Absolutely.
Have I summarised that okay?
You nailed it.
Good. So the next video, we're going to talk about the implications of all of this on your distribution network, and we'll stick a link below.